Have I ever told you guys how much I love getting packages in the mail? Because I do. Like, I will order a bunch of little things for myself just so I can, like, unwrap them. It's so much fun. It's like Christmas on call, if anything. Because I always forget what I end up ordering until it comes in. But this time I think I've actually kind of kept track of the things that are coming in. Anyways, I'm kind of rambling because it's a season to be rambling. So what's up, guys? Got some TCGO here. I caught Fizzy in the lobby, and I was like, oh man, you know, if I could play Fizzy, that would be really cool. But spoilers, I don't actually end up playing him, and you know, spoilers are in the title and everything too. But I'm just kind of waiting for my opponent, and it doesn't turn out to be Fizzy, and that makes me a little sad. But I think Fizzy would kick my ass if I were to try this deck on him, because he knows exactly how it works. But this guy is actually not going to be affected by Archeops shenanigans at all either, which is really unfortunate. The thing is, I also show him in that first turn because I mulligan what kind of deck I'm running. And as much as that sucks, he's really not going to be fazed by it. There's really only one... this deck just kind of slides under the radar in terms of what, you know, I can actually do to it. But I see two Sneasels, which is like, okay, I still don't know what kind of deck he's running. But spoilers, starts with D and ends with Durant. It's a fucking Durant deck. So wonderful, fantastic. We know the name of this game. The name of this game is to kill off 6 ants before my deck bleeds dry, because Durant is a pain in the ass. So he's going to go for a dual ball, hopefully get his 4th Durant, and if he doesn't have his 4th Durant, he can get a Rotom. He does have his 4th Durant, though, which means that his Rotom is either in the prize cards or in his deck, or he just doesn't have to worry about it at all. But he mills off the top 4 from, you know, the top of my deck. And I'm just going to go for the Plume Fossil, because I don't know if the Sneasels actually evolve. I know some people keep them there just for placeholders, but I don't actually know what they end up doing. So I decided Junk Arm. I don't remember what I Junk Arm out for, but I'm going to Junk Arm out... what I should have done, I should have Junk Armed out both of the twins, because in reality, you know, it's not really going to be any kind of prize race or anything like that. I'm going to have less prizes to pull than he is regardless through the duration of the match. So I'm going to go ahead and PCOM out for a Pokemon that I think can actually do the job to kill these off. And that is going to be Terrakion, because if he's going to run Eviolite on these Durants, and it actually starts working now of all times, then, you know, 90 minus 20 would be 70. It would still be enough to kill everything, and Sneasel does have the weakness to fighting. So Terrakion is going to be a big threat. That big horse is going to be a big threat. So Weavile, I have never actually seen it. I've seen Sneasels in Durant decks, but this is the first time I've ever actually seen one evolve, so I kind of zoom in on it for a little bit. And Claw Snag is when you evolve it, you pick a card from your opponent's hand and you discard it. He sees that I have 2 energy, so he's going to PCOM out his Rotom to get his second Weavile. And he's just... This turn really doesn't seem that significant, to be honest, but it really is, because I'm actually not able to attack anything in this next turn because he Claw Snags both of my energies, and that's a big fucking pain in the ass. But he decides to use Pokegear, what is that, 3.0? Pulls a Juniper, just to rub it in my face, because Juniper is you discard your hand and you draw 7 cards. Now, the thing is that he didn't have a hand, so he just gets to draw 7 cards right off the bat, and that's fucking awesome. On top of that, you know, to add insult to injury, he takes out both of my Oaks, and I think I only run 2 in this deck. But I'm going to go ahead and play Super Rod, because I don't want that energy in the discard pile. I would rather draw into it as soon as possible. Because the instant Terrakion gets 3 energy, unless he has a way of putting that Terrakion in my hand, I am set to go. That horse is going to crush some ants. So... going to go ahead and eke out for a new hand, hopefully get some fighting energies. And I come into 2 fighting energies, which is awesome. Now, he can't do that claw snagging thing again because he already has his bench full, meaning that he has to seeker them or super scoop them up. And those will put him back in his hand so we can evolve him again. But Durant is just doing his thing and eating away at his deck, and I need those energies on Terrakion as soon as possible. Otherwise, I'm gonna end up getting eaten alive here. So what I decided to do is I decided to go for the research record and put the 2 Archons on the top of my deck, because I already have one in play. Any Archons and Plume Fossils right now are good Junk Arm fodder, so I can get out things that I really need to, like catchers and switches. I'm not really going to need PCOMs. This is going to be a very low maintenance game. I'm going to need catchers to take out the Durants and switches in case he decides to catcher or something out that isn't Terrakion, and then just go from there. But I'm going to go ahead and bring out Terrakion, and because I have Land Crush, which will do 90 damage, Durant only has 70 HP, I'll be able to kill off that Durant. It does have a rescue energy on it, which means he can put it down next turn, but it does get me 1 more prize card and 1 more energy in my hand, which is always good. Now, the Pokemon in play the Pokemon I have in play, rather. One of them has no retreat cost, which is Cleffa, and then Archon has 1 retreat cost. So if I can get 1 energy on that, then I should be good to go to switch out from Archon to Terrakion or from Cleffa to Terrakion. He's not going to disrupt me that much unless he actually has a Seeker or something like that. You know, like, and even still, he probably wouldn't. He'd have to use like 2 in a row, and that wouldn't work out for him. Plus, I have a Landorus, so I'm looking pretty good with Terrakion. Now, he's doing some other things. He decides to, I think he junk arms out for a Pokegear to get a new hand with Professor Oak. And I'm still not really too worried by it, but I mean, he does do that crushing hammer kind of thing. So if he were to do that in a catcher, that would disrupt me quite a bit. Because I would need to put that energy on Archon in order to get it out of that spot, or I would need to put it on Terrakion to be ready to attack next turn. And on top of that, he takes out a Junk Arm and a Switch, but I draw into another Junk Arm, which is fantastic. Now, the thing is, I'm wondering what I can Junk Arm up. And at this point, I think I'm going to want it to be a Switch in case he decides to catch her up. I want to be ready for that, since I think that deck would run like 1 or 2 in order to try to disrupt me. Plus, you know, that Archon is just begging to be brought out there so I can, you know, waste a turn, since I don't have any energy in my hand. Other option I could have had is a Junk Arm for the Super Rod and put some fighting energy back into my deck, but that will probably come at a later time, assuming he doesn't eat through all my Junk Arms. Since those are going to be pretty key, I'm glad I decided to put 4 in my deck, and I got those extra 2. I think I traded those for like 1 Steelix, so that was actually a pretty good deal. And bam, wouldn't you know it, there's the catcher. So he catches out my Archon, and that's meant to disrupt me, but thanks to Junk Arm, he doesn't actually see what I Junk Arm out for, I think. Or maybe he does. I don't remember. I think he does, but I don't really understand why he catches out when I can just as easily, you know, switch out. But I don't want to evolve this Archeops or this Archon because it has a low retreat cost right now. It would be 2 more if I decide to put it on. But I'm gonna attack this Durant, take it out, and I do have a catcher. And decide if in case he decides he wants to keep in Weavile for whatever reason, he puts it in right now because it has a free retreat cost, and he probably doesn't have any metal. Okay, I really don't know why he did that in that case. He could have been trying to just super scoop it up, but you can do that from the bench too, I think. So he's trying to get that back into his hand so he can evolve it, and then he can claw snag things out of my hand. The only thing that he could probably really claw snag out of my hand is probably the catcher. That would probably stall. That would buy him a little bit of time. For now, Twins isn't going to do me any good. Pokemon Collectors aren't going to do me any good. And, you know, I have Landorus and Terrakion, which is whatever, so... Oh man, talk about your interrupting phone calls. If you heard the tiny audio split right there, that's because I had to go do the phone call thing that you do sometimes. But anyways, there's 3 Durants, 3 prizes. I think I know what my targets are at this point. Plus I have a catcher and I have an extra energy, which I think I am gonna keep in my hand in case he decides to hammer or catcher out. If he catches out, then I can put it on the Archon. If he hammers, then I can put it on Terrakion, and I'll be good to go. So I need to pay attention to how many cards are in my deck. I'm looking, and I only have 7. Now, the thing is that he has 2 Durants out as well, and if he decides to use Pokemon Collector, he can get them right back because he just used Super Rod. So there are 4 Durants on the field. If you're doing the math, then I will probably be decked out by next turn. And this is a problem. So I can take out this next thing, but if I don't do anything to get more cards back into my deck, then it's going to be what is it? A 1/6 in his favor, God forbid. But I pull into the most miraculous thing right now, which happens to be a Junk Arm. Now, what am I going to Junk Arm out that will save me, might you ask? I'm going to Junk Arm out for my Super Rod. Now, my Super Rod is going to let me put 3 cards back into my deck, and that will actually let me live the next Devour of Durant, if you're going to want to do your math, by 1. So what I want to do right here is I want to catch her in one that doesn't have a rescue energy on it, so it'll hurt his tempo a little bit more as well. So now the last one just literally comes down to whatever I can kill. Because if I did that on the other one, then he could just put it down again, and then he would mill off a couple more cards, and I would draw into nothing. But right now, there are 5 cards, and then that Durant is stuck in the discard pile, assuming he has a way to revive it, which I'm really hoping he doesn't at this point, because he'll mill off 4, I'll draw that last one, and I think that counts as a deck out. So, what ends up happening here, I forget. He's kind of thinking and stuff because reasons. I don't remember what he ends up Junk Arming out for. Probably Super Rod to put that Durant back. I don't remember. I really don't. All I know is at this point I'm probably getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I'm able to survive this last Devour. And look at how happy Archon is. That's for Cap if he watches. He's Cap is a big fan of Archon, and it's so happy. So he decides to junk arm out for a catcher thinking it'll disrupt me, but I do have that fighting energy in my hand, and it's actually the exact opposite ended up happening. It's the fact that I didn't evolve Archon into Archeops that ended up saving me this match, because if I had evolved it, then I would have been screwed on this last turn. So I think he tries to just devour at this point because he only has 3 Durants in play. But because he only has 3, 5 minus 3 will be 2, meaning I will draw, and I will win this battle by 1 card in my deck. So in terms of Durant encounters, that was the absolute closest one I've had, and that horse is just crushing ants everywhere. So not exactly the conventional video I wanted, but honestly, ZPST, that's short for Zekrom, Pachirisu, Shaman, and Tornadus. That's a fairly popular deck format as well. That was just shitting on me yesterday. That's all I ran into last night, and it's not even that common right now, so it kind of boggles my mind. But that'll do it for this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you're welcome to leave a like rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. I am probably going to record Penumbra late tonight so I can actually get genuinely scared, because it's like 4 o'clock right now. I'll wait a couple hours. Anyways, that's it for TCGO. Battle should be in your sub boxes at the same time as well, and I will see you guys later.